Hey everybody, it's Andy's Free Guitar Charts videos for today. It's almost springtime, and we'll be starting a new playlist in springtime. So this is a couple of the last videos of the winter 226. So we're looking at 492 and 493 here. All right, so we've got the expanded modal caged word, right? So here's caged, here's the shorter version of it, here's the complete modal set, and then we have also in the next chart 493 we've got I've rearranged it. So if you see 3C or C3, it's the same thing. It's just here the emphasis is on the numbers, and we're going to need that emphasis. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you know there's 7 modes. And then 8, it would be started again. Modal string shapes, modal cutouts, easy GBE strings, modals, chords, easy rules, and easy chords. So what is that? If I play a C here, C shape on the open, the top 3 strings there are my easy chord. So the top 3 strings in the modal boxes are always a triad representing the mode. So if I have A here, okay, the top 3 strings are going to be that 5th triad. Okay, so let's look at that. Let's look and see how that works. You can do it right up on the fretboard here. So we're on 494, and we're comfortable on 493 because we've had lessons on 492. All right, which is and we could talk about it on the same. It's the same fretboard up here. Right here where I've emphasized putting the number first. Okay, well I didn't put the number first on this one. But if you focus on the numbers, and what throws a lot of people is R is root. So 1 is R is root. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why is it important to have a circle like that? Because it's important to understand the continuity of the fretboard, how it's not just divided up willy-nilly. Okay, it's not just divided up willy-nilly. Yeah, we're finally looking at it here. So we have root, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7. You see how there's kind of like an order to it? And that's important. So in this fretboard, okay, so here it is. We'll want to piece it together and look at the caged word. Then we're no longer looking at it in fifths. So this is the circle of fifths. Okay, so root to 5 is a fifth. 5 to 2. Here's root to 5. 5 to 2. 2 to 6. These are all fifths. 6 to 3. 3 to 7. 7 to 4. And 4 to root again. So they're in fifths. There's an order to it, okay? It means these circles doesn't mean we're going crazy. It means that there's a start and a finish to it, so it's complete, and also it means that it can go either way. With a circle, you can start anywhere and go this way. You could start this way Or you can start this way and go this way, or you can start here and go this way, or you can start here and go that way. And it'll always be there. So one thing that people have a little trouble with is the way with the cage circle. Just imagine this is a rollout of a simple cage circle. D goes back to C. Okay, if you're going the other way, say we're going in a pentatonic scale. D, E, G, A, C, back to D, E, G, A, C. So it's a pentatonic system. So now the pentatonic scale, each note equals a shape. The C shape, the D shape, the E shape, the G shape, and the A shape. And then you go the other way, C, A, G, E, D is the cage system. Here's C, A, G, E, and D way up here. That's the cage system, but going backwards, it's a pentatonic scale, D, E, G, A, C. And it can go further down on my guitar where I have an extra D down here. Okay. Alright, so this is chart 492. Now I'm starting to mix the chart numbers up because we're approaching the big 500. So there's all kinds of weird things happening to my chart numbers. And I have to really watch them carefully. So let's look at first the fretboard itself. This is the Ionian. The Ionian string shape is root 2-3. Okay. Now, of course, there's 2-3-4, and that's the Dorian, but we're not going to look at that until here, 2-3-4, or else we'd have to have Dorian over here, and where we're going to put it down here, 2-3-4. They're interwoven. They're interwoven, but when we look at the modals and this fretboard, they're not. There's no sharing on this fretboard. And each one of these boxes has a long and a short. Now, we got to draw the line somewhere. So your fret nut is here. Here's your E note. My fret nut's down here because I'm down C tuned. Here's my C note. Here's your strings, E, B, G, D, A, and E. So this is a half position from the get-go. The actual E position, we'll just slide over here, is right here. So this is where that my fret nut is down there. But the E position also is a Locrian position, 7 root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2. Or you can have 2, 3 and a cutout up to here. Now the thing about cutouts with string shapes is, the string shapes here, 2, 3, 4 is a D string shape. D going to C, we're going to cut out, so we're going to go 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, so the thing about the cutouts, we're gonna cover that in the next chart here. We'd go 2, 3, and a 4, which should take us D going to C. That's a caged advance. D goes to C, because the word cage starts over again. Okay. With the Locrian box, we got 7. Okay. We can either just play it straight the way I just played it, or we can do a cutout over to here. So we've covered the whole fretboard here. Now this is a missing fret right here. The third, here's Mixolydian triad. 5, 7, 2. Okay, that's our Mixolydian 5th, right? So its third is 7. Okay, its 5th, and then its root. So that'd be like first inversion. Alright, so that I should add it to the chart. But on the short ones, obviously Aeolian would be what? 6 root 3. So this is root 3, 6. Is also first inversion. Okay, so they're all pretty much first inversion up there on the cutouts, and that's very interesting. Let's look at the Aeolian box. So this is the long box of the short 6/7 root string shape. And by the way, let's look at the string shapes too. It's very important to know these modal string shapes. Now, there's nothing written here because it starts over again, Dorian here. So the Mixolydian string shape is 5, 6, 7. No matter what key you're in, you start on a 5, 6, 7. The Ionian string shape is root 2, 3. Okay. 5, 6, 7 is the Mixolydian. The Lydian is 4, 5, 6, but you better find that 4, 5, 6 fast. Locrian 7 root 2, etc., etc. Phrygian 3, 4, 5. Aeolian 6, 7 root. And Dorian's 2, 3, 4. Alright? And you build them. So if you start on 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root. I didn't adjust for the tuning third because this is in P4. P4 means we don't know where the B string is going to be depending on where we start. But these are the modal string shapes. Okay, so let's just have a little powwow here. Thunderstorms all night. There's a lot going on in the Middle East as far as the hot zone. And it seems like there's always something to worry about. Let's just do our best. You don't always have to feel inspired, but you can practice your scales, practice your chords. Make sure your guitar's in tune. All right. Practice. Do what you like doing. You should always, by the time I finish this chart here, I put a lot of time into getting these easy chords. These are the top 3 strings in the modal cages. I brought the fretboard down here for us to look at where we should look at it. So let's see if we can do this. Remember, last time's lesson focused mostly on, and this chart I haven't discussed with you guys either. We've got to look at this. Just a word of caution, these are the older colors, but they still work. And so for the most part they're right, but some of them are different. So it's hard to change the color scheme once I've made it. With the cage system, we have the short boxes, the C box. We have the modal circle in the C box, C, D minor, E minor, okay, all that stuff. Mr. Capo is always ready. C, D minor, E minor, and then an E-shaped F. Same thing as E, an E-shaped F. Very close. G-shaped G, A minor shaped A minor, and then a C-shaped C diminished. So we have 5 root 3 here, and we have 4, 7, 2 there. It's essentially